Hey guys, welcome back to the SimFactor series. In this series, I'm investigating how well the simulator can prepare me for a real-life karting season. I've already explained this in the first two episodes, so be sure to check those out for all the details. I'll quickly recap now though for anybody who hasn't seen them. I'll be visiting a number of different tracks across the UK. For some tracks, I'll go through a baseline test day and set a benchmark lap time. I will then do regular practice on the sim before a final test day of the track to see if it helped. For other tracks, I will start with sim practice and follow up with a final test day to check that it's the sim that worked and not the initial track day that hopefully helps my times. For the first track, I visited Buckmore Park, which means the series is finally underway. I chose Buckmore as it's not too far away from where I live and it's pretty accessible, as you can book your sessions at your own convenience. For this reason, I'll be doing 2 track days here. Buckmore Park is one of the premier karting tracks in the UK. It hosts its own Arrive and Drive Championship series and is also home to Medway Valley Kart Club. Their booking site is really easy to navigate and their customer service and communication was great. I booked the wrong day by accident and they changed it without any problems when I called them to explain. Once there, everything ran like clockwork and the session started bang on time. It wasn't all about the drivers either. There were lots of places for spectators to watch, trackside and from the balcony. The clubhouse was clean and comfy and they had a nice cafe for anybody needing a drink or a bacon butty. Their track also had a live leaderboard, which was super cool and a great way to involve the spectators. Although you couldn't see it when you were karting, there was a smaller one next to the start-finish line. They also had a proper race control building that overlooked the whole track. It was such a cool karting experience as well. I really enjoyed this track, so let me take you through what happened on my first test day. I had never been to the track before, so I was quite surprised by the elevation on the track. It looked like it should be fun. Because it was a public session, there were 18 of us on track, covering a wide range of experience levels. We were in safety car LR5s, which are fitted with 160cc Honda 4-stroke engines. The aim of the experiment is to compare my final test day times with my baseline lap times. I want to see how much I can improve my own times rather than comparing my times to other drivers. At this stage, I don't really need to be topping the timing board, but I do need to try and get some clean laps without too much traffic. I also need to learn the layout and the racing line quickly, so I have as much time to get a competitive lap. The session started with a formation lap, so that we got to learn the track a little before we started going fast. It was a warm and cloudy day, but I noticed there were quite a few damp patches which made the beginning bit quite chaotic. There was also a puddle at the exit of the final hairpin, which, as you can see, created a lot of understeer. There was a wide range of abilities on track, and as a result, there were lots of yellow flags, so it was tricky to get into a rhythm and build momentum. I was improving every lap, but I realised the karts had limiters on them. These weren't as bad as some other karts I have driven with them on, because apart from the pit straight and the back straight, the kart would usually only hit them a few seconds before a corner. I realised that this meant cutting off distance in the lap would be super important to getting lap time, so in the S's I tried to use as much curb as possible. This would cut off a few meters of distance over the course of the lap. It was pretty bumpy, but the camera makes it look worse because it can't smooth out any of the bumps like our eyes can. I then had a few more overtakes and close calls, but there wasn't too much to note over the next few laps. The track evolution was crazy though. The sim replicates this as well, but out of the ones I've tried, none of them compared to the experience I had this session. Here, you can see the understeer that I was getting at the exit of the second hairpin at the beginning of the session. And here's the understeer around halfway through. The first part of the track and the pit straight had been used the session before us, but the second half was unused, so I'm interested to see if there's a difference if there haven't been karts on the track in my next session. I then channeled my inner Alex Albon and overtook someone on the grass. Because I only had one half-an-hour session, It was hard to see my lap times because I'd lose a lot of track time if I got out of the car to check. This meant if I made any changes to my lap, I wasn't able to see how these affected my times until the end of the session. This is one advantage that the simulator has, because you can race for much longer and have all your lap times available to look at, pretty much whenever you want. For the most part, the session ran smoothly. To my surprise, I finished first by 1/100th, with a 1 minute 1.696. I wasn't the fastest in any of the sectors though, so I definitely have time to make up. The current lap record in the junior karts is 59 seconds, so that's something to aim for. I'm interested to see if the sim will help. When I was watching my fastest lap back, I saw a few places that I could improve, mostly just using more curb in some places. I'll go into more detail on that in the next episode. Anyway, here's my fastest lap of the session. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.